Hey everybody, welcome to McKellar Motivational Monday. Every week we get together on Monday and we talk about something that's going to help us have a better week, have a better experience. So come on in. Thanks for the waves, Jose and Lou. And hello Ed, Mystic Ninja, Joe, Adolfo. Watching from Brazil, that is so cool. Hey Sean and Michael and Deanna. Welcome Cortez, your first day on Periscope, very cool. Hey Nathan, Iowa, very cool. Thanks for my super heart. I still don't really know what super hearts are on Periscope. By the way, so I'm here on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, and this is Periscope Live and Facebook Live. Hey Phil and Lynn, South Dakota. You feel like you need to hear this, Becky? Yeah, weathering the storm. So this can be any kind of storm, any kind of bad thing. I just wanted to talk about, and I know I've talked about this type of thing before, but we could all use it again and again. Because you know what? Life keeps throwing challenges at us, doesn't it? All different kinds of challenges, like again and again. Just when you think everything is at a stable place, then a wrench gets thrown in, and everything changes, everything stops, things alter. The only constant is change in his life. The only constant is change. I wasn't even going to say that, but it just occurred to me now, because you know what? I find that comforting. And you know why that's comforting? Because then when change happens, we're like, oh, right, because this is what happens in life. Change happens. Thank you. I think that was Nathan. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Alibaba. You just saw me on Impractical Jokers, Mike? Yeah, that was pretty funny. I enjoyed doing that. So if you guys want to share the types of storms you're weathering right now, that's great, but you don't have to. This is really just about talking about solutions. So let's talk about solutions. Again, if you want to share what's really going on, that's fine, but let's talk about how to weather storms. The number one thing, and this kind of goes for regular storms and figurative storms, because of course we're talking about figurative storms. This is not a post about which umbrellas you should get and stay inside when the thunder and lightning is happening. This is talking about life stuff. But this next sentence, this next little phrase I'm going to say applies to both kinds of storms, and that is, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Everything moves on. Nothing stays, you guys. The good stuff and the bad stuff. Nothing is permanent. Not the good stuff, not the bad stuff. And what does that mean? It means that when bad stuff happens, we can go like, okay, you know what? I'm going to let this pass over, and then at some point this won't be happening anymore. And what it means for the good stuff is we got to enjoy it and really absorb every good moment that we have, because it's not going to last either. And I'm speaking about this as the mom of an 8-year-old, which it's just, everything is so cute every day. And I know that he's going to grow up and get older. I'm still going to love him just as much, obviously, but he's not going to be tiny anymore. So the good stuff, the bad stuff, it's going to pass. So when the bad stuff happens, it's just like the good stuff, you guys. It's gonna fade away. So and this leads me to my next little saying. I shouldn't have called this do's and don'ts. I should have called it Danica's sayings about weathering the storm. Well, okay, right. Pain in this life is inevitable. It just is. All different kinds of pain is inevitable. But you know what's optional? Suffering. This is a phrase that has helped me so much. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Right, Adam? There we go. A burden shared is a burden halved. That's nice. That's really nice. And that actually speaks to something else I'm going to talk about, is when your friends are weathering a storm, reaching out to them. Danica's inspirational quotes. People are not staring at me, Abbott, but if they do, they do. You know what I mean? pain is a feeling, suffering is a thought. Yes, I like that, compassioning. I like that. Roxy, this applies to anything that's making you sad. Pain, we can acknowledge the pain, whether it's the loss of somebody that we love or something bad that's happening in our lives. Usually it's some sort of loss. We lose a job, we lose something that we lose a friendship. Oh, that's fantastic. Your mom's got out of the hospital. That's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. Pain is temporary. Pizza is permanent. I don't know if that's true, but I like it. It's funny. Thanks, Alexis. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. What that means is bad stuff's going to happen and it's going to hurt. Then we acknowledge that pain. We say, wow, this is painful. Wow, this hurts. But suffering happens when we try to control the things we can't control. So that's that feeling you get when it feels like you're running in quicksand. But why does this happen? Well, why can't I, why does this happen to me, and what's going on, and how can this happen? This is so horrible. Placing judgments on it. Getting into victimhood and placing judgments on it makes the pain and the suffering last longer. It lasts longer. The solution that I've found is to acknowledge the stuff we have control over and the stuff we don't have control over. Acknowledge, okay, you know what? I don't have control over these outside people's behaviors, this outside event that's happening. I don't have control over that. So I can relinquish my need to try to control it, because that's going to lead to suffering and madness. Absolute madness. Superpower. Awareness and making good decisions based on that awareness. I like that. That is a superpower, awareness. And for me, the biggest awareness, the most important awareness for me is that awareness of what we have control over and what we don't. Because then we get out of that undertow where you're like trying to get out into the water and it's knocking you down. You're getting... Not all suffering... You don't think all suffering is prolonged dwelling on pain by choice. I would not say by conscious choice, no. But when we let ourselves dwell, we let ourselves, it may be an unconscious choice, but I invite you to consider the idea that it is a choice on some level, because if we have awareness, then we can make another choice. Been in a rut for 4 years. It happens. I mean, believe me, when my divorce was happening and after my divorce, I had a couple years where it just wasn't what I wanted it to be. And it was hard. Actually, I found Al-Anon during that time, which is, I had found it before. Al-Anon is the program you go to when there's somebody in your life with alcoholism or some addiction of some sort. And I didn't have that currently at that time, but I had found Al-Anon from when I was in college, and I dated a guy who was an addict, and he was recovering when I met him, and he was going to AA, and he suggested that I go to Al-Anon, and I was like, oh, but you're gonna be fine. And I didn't realize how difficult that is. But when I found Al-Anon through that, I learned a lot of the advice that I'm giving right now and that I gave on these scopes happened from these broadcasts happened, and I learned from Al-Anon. And I recommend if any of you are suffering from that or feeling all that pain from that, I highly recommend Al-Anon. I found meetings that I liked. Not all the meetings were right for me. And this is totally a side note, by the way. But it helped me. So yes, ruts can happen, and you do need to reach out for help sometimes. We can't always do this stuff on our own, you guys. We really can't. And for me, Al-Anon really helped. You did try that? Al-Anon is A-L-A-N-O-N. Yes, Al-Anon. Thank you, D.B. Elvism. I do think it made me a stronger person. Wonderful. I don't know. Thank you. How do you let go? That's the hardest point for you. You know what, Megan? You let go for you. Forgiveness is for you. It's for you. It's not for the other people. Letting go. The option for letting go, the alternative, the bad, in my opinion, the bad alternative to letting go is holding on to bad stuff. When you hold on to bad stuff, that is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Holding on to negativity, holding on to grudges, holding on to resentment. Now, not that you're not going to feel these feelings. Of course, we all feel them. But if you hang on to them, if you make them your identity, if you grab on and say, this is the thing that Al-Anon are meetings, Green Joe. They're meetings. And no, I wouldn't go back and change. No, I would absolutely have still married him because I had my son from that marriage, so. Letting go is difficult. Absolutely difficult. But it's worth it. Because what's the alternative? The alternative is holding on to that negativity, holding on to the resentment, and then that brings you down. It is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die or expecting anything else to change. Thank you, Ronnie. Absolutely, yes. Pain is hard, but it makes us stronger. I believe that's true, Stephen. Does. And it allows us to have experiences that make us understand things better. You understand things better when you go through painful experiences. Yeah. Yes, I have been affected by... I don't usually get emotional either. I'm sorry, you guys. I haven't been affected by the Lori Loughlin thing, for sure. It's very difficult. But yes, prayer is important. Meditation is important. Finding your strength is important. Not succumbing to negativity. We're all going to experience it sometimes. We are. But you fight for the strength. You fight for the strength to be there for yourself and to be there for your friends. You have to fight for that sometimes. Yeah, you have to fight for that. So, sometimes I have to take my own advice. Is it time for pizza? It might be time for pizza. You guys, it's so important to remember the tools that you have when things are going well, because then when things aren't going well and you have to weather a storm, then you have those things to lean on, and you lean on your friends, and you want to be there for people. You want to be there for people. When you can be the strong one, be the strong one. Be there for your friends. And you know, whether you are experiencing the storm yourself or experiencing it from afar, what turns pain into suffering is that judgment. Whether you're judging yourself or you're judging other people, you know, a lot of us can be tempted to say, "Oh, well, I'm better than that person, and I'm going to judge them, and I'm going to feel so much better about myself for it." And that is evil. It's evil, you guys. Don't pass judgment. We don't know. You never know what someone else is going through. You never know what led somebody to something. And you got to be careful, because when you judge, and I don't mean to be quoting the Bible, I'm not even that religious, but when you judge, you will be judged yourself. And do you know what that means? It doesn't mean that when you judge people that they judge you, although that will happen. What it means is when you're judgmental to other people, when you shoot your negativity out to other people, you're going to, without realizing it, do that to yourself. You will do that to yourself. However, if you forgive other people, if you are kind and generous, and when things go south for yourself, you will be kind to yourself. So, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, is not just about being nice to people so that they're nice to you later. It's about being nice to people so that you will be nice to yourself, because we all have a tape that runs in our head that isn't always the nicest. Am I right? We all have that tape. We all have things from our childhoods, insecurities, whatever it is. We all hear it all the time sometimes. We are haunted by things. You can change your internal dialogue by first being nice to other people. Show them that kindness, and it'll come back to you. So, how can you do that when other people talk behind your back? How can you be kind to them? It's tough. It's tough, but you know, it's so funny. I've never been that religious, but there are so many lessons in the Bible that I didn't even realize that I pay attention to. But it's true. Turn the other cheek, you guys. Don't hold on to negativity. You just stay away from people. Well, that's probably not the answer. Haters will hate. It's so true. And you just gotta let it go. Let it go. Go inside. If you pray, pray. If you meditate, meditate. All the answers. The questions can get so complicated. I've said this before. The questions can get so complicated, but the answers are always about love. Self-love, compassion, loving others. That's always the answer. It's always the answer. As we can get so wound up in all the questions and all the problems and all the stuff, and that's busy work. You want to stay busy? Want to stay busy? You can stay busy with suffering, with self-righteousness, outrage addiction, which is such a thing, you guys. Have you heard of this? Outrage addiction? This thing where we only read the headlines? Don't only read the headlines, you guys. Do your own research. That goes for anything. Don't read the headlines and be satisfied that you know what's going on, because you don't. I'm sure of it. I've learned this many, many times. Just, yes, hold on to your loved ones. Shoot, I lost my train of thought. Yes, we're all sinners. It's so true. But turn the other cheek. Use kindness. Use kindness. Use love. Don't pass judgment. The answers are simple. They're not easy. The answers are not easy. It is not easy to turn the other cheek. It is not easy to stay in love and forgiveness. It's not easy to turn away from suffering. It's not easy. The easier thing, the thing we're programmed to do, is to listen to that voice in our head that will tell us that we're not good enough, or whatever it is, the negativity, because we're surrounded by it. We are surrounded by negativity. We are surrounded by a society that tells us that we need outside things to be okay, that we need we need products. Why? We live in a capitalist society, which we live in the best country in the world. And I don't mean to judge it, but what I'm saying is that we do live in a world that's run by money and run by companies that tell us we have to buy things and consume things to be happy. We don't. The only way to truly be happy, in my opinion, in my experience, is to find that stillness. That stillness that comes from forgiveness and love and not passing judgment on other people. No matter what's going on, go internal. Go internal, find that stillness. That is where you will find happiness. That's where you'll find bliss. Because when you take away the judgment, and you take away all the self-righteous indignation and all that stuff, when you take it away, the stillness you find is bliss. And some people call that love. Some people call it God. Some people call it higher power, whatever it is. When take away the other stuff, you will get slapped again. Who cares, right? Who cares? I mean, I know it's hard. It's hard not to care. I care. I care. We need to strive for that, not caring what other people think. We have to strive for doing the right thing just because it's the right thing. Unexpected group therapy session, totally. Be nice with no expectations. That's right. We need to be nice and forgive, not for other people, but for ourselves. Because it's the right thing to do for us, for our souls. It also happens to be the right thing for other people. Deepak Chopra talks about this in his book, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, which is my favorite book ever, and I wish I knew which chapter this was. He talks about the fact that there is always going to be one choice that is the right choice and brings the most love and power to ourselves and everyone around us. Isn't it amazing that there would be one choice that would do all of that? Hi, Mom. You missed like all the drama a little while ago. You know, oh, somebody's trying to park. Close this door. Okay, now I'm less well lit. I'm literally in a parking lot right now, you guys. Oh, I should read Dr. David Jeremiah. I don't know who that is. Thank you, Abraham. Yeah, can you imagine? Can you believe I almost considered turning off the scopes when I got emotional? I almost considered ending them, and I'm so glad I didn't, because I thought, what would that be saying? What kind of message would that send out? I'm trying to talk about strength and positivity, and I'm going to let myself get dragged down by my own emotion and embarrassment? Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, it makes me human. I am definitely human, you guys. So, yeah, my mom just joined. Hi, Mom. I would say watch from earlier, but you might get sad, because I got sad. You get emotional during this too, Ed? Thank you. So, yeah, less drama, more kindness. Can you guys pledge with me that we're going to be kinder this week? Just kinder to ourselves, to other people. And like I said before, the kinder we are, yes, when we are weathering a storm, the kinder we are to others, the kinder we will be to ourselves when we are weathering a storm. Because we all have a voice. Strong people cry. Oh my gosh. Did you guys ever see, what is that? Big Lebowski. The Big Lebowski. When the older Jeffrey Lebowski is sitting in front of the fireplace and he's crying, he says, strong men. He goes, strong men also cry. Strong men also cry. It is hilarious. And I just thought of that when somebody said, strong people also cry. If you guys haven't seen that movie, it's funny. But The Big Lebowski is funnier the second time you watch it. I'm not sure why, but it is. It just is. Yes, when you're mad at somebody, think of them as little children or babies, Rob. Thank you for that. If you guys are weathering a storm when you're really, really angry at somebody and you don't want to feel that anger anymore, you've dealt with it, you've processed it, you've felt the anger, and you're just like, God, why can't I let this go? One of my tricks is picture them as babies. Picture them as little babies. Sometimes that can take the edge off because we're all human. We all make mistakes. And something that Deepak Chopra has said that helped me so much during my divorce, because I was a basket case for a while there. This was years ago now, but I still remember it. And that is that when somebody has done something bad to you, well, first of all, it's there for a reason. It's a teacher, blah, blah, blah. Also, people are doing the best that they can with the tools that they have at that time. People don't always have the best tools for all sorts of reasons. Maybe it's because they have a bad tape running in their head and they're trying to survive like the rest of us. You know, if you can find compassion for the people who've done bad things to you, you will own this world. And that is what it means to turn the other cheek. It doesn't really mean, okay, well, hit me again. It just means, you know what? I'm not going to hit you back. I'm not going to hit you back. You're not going to win. Who's going to IHOP with me? Wouldn't that be nice if we could all go to IHOP and just have some pancakes right now? Oh. Chapter 2 of the Law of Giving, I don't know. I don't have the book memorized, but I just love that book so much. The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. Yes, God loves us always, Stephen. And what does that mean? For some of us, that means God that you can picture up above the clouds that looks like an old man. Or maybe God is just the universal love. God is something that it has a different picture for a lot of different people. Some people believe in more than one God. But find that inner stillness, that inner peace. You have the book in front of you, Real Padilla. What if God was one of us, right? Hey, Matt. Oh, thank you, Jim. I was married before this marriage, Jennifer. Yes, I was married. I was with that person for 11 years, married for 3, and we had a beautiful child named Draco. And I'm remarried now, and he has a child as well, a great kid, and the 4 of us have Brady Bunched it. So, anyway, you guys, you know what though? A little humor is welcome. We have to use humor. We have to use absurdity. In fact, when we are weathering a storm, absurdity is a great, great tool because it turns bad things into comedy. Absurdity. Wow, that is absurd. What is going on? How could this be going on? This is absurd. So, by the way, what time is it, you guys? Can you tell me what time it is wherever you are? Because that'll help tell me what time it is where I am. It's somewhere around 7 o'clock for me, but I have no idea what time it is. And I need to know. It's 7:10. Wow, time is flying. I'm not surprised that time flew in this scope. Recap. These are my notes that I wrote on the back of a receipt. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys so much. I love you and appreciate you so much. I really do. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for allowing me to hold space with all of you and to be authentic, be real with you, and have you guys be real back. And thank you for understanding that I am human and sometimes I get emotional and I am going through a tough time right now. But I want to just recap some of these notes that I wrote on this receipt, which is just so, can you believe how professional I am and how great this is? Group hug. Oh, that's a great idea, Dan. Let's do a group hug. Okay. Just wrap one arm around you if you're holding onto your device like I am. And I love dogs. Don't say, you know what, that's hate speech right there. I notice all of you guys, even if I can't say it all, just hug. Okay, we're going to feel ourselves hugging. Do you know when you're little and you hug a stuffed animal and you feel that stuffed animal loving you back and it's real? Well, that's because it was you hugging yourself. You can put love into a stuffed animal and right here, hug. Send you guys all a huge big hug. And to recap what we were talking about. When a storm is hitting you hard, remember, this too shall pass. Nothing lasts, not the good stuff, not the bad stuff. Which means when the bad stuff is happening, you know it's not going to last. You're going to be okay. When the good stuff is happening, that's not going to last either. So appreciate every moment that you can. To get out of victimhood, remember, pain is inevitable in this life because stuff happens. Suffering is optional. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. So what that means is don't hold on to the pain too long. Acknowledge it. Embrace it. Say, yeah, wow, this hurts. This really hurts. It's amazing how much this hurts. And try not to control the things you can't control because that's when the suffering happens. Well, I want to change this or heck, oh, why couldn't I have done that? There's things you can control and there are things you can't control. Mostly what we can control, is some of us. Our second thought that we have. Yes, I see you, April. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is for you. Forgive others, not for them. Do it for you. Forgiveness is for you. And if you're having a hard time forgiving somebody, picture them as a little baby and know that they were doing the best they could with the tools that they had. Their toolkit maybe wasn't very good. It wasn't enough. And you don't have to have them in your life anymore. But you can still forgive them and acknowledge that they are human just like we are. Don't judge. Try not to judge other people, you guys. And don't just read the headlines and then believe that that's fact. Because you know what the headlines are there for? The headlines are to get you to click on it. The headlines are to feed our addiction to outrage. The outrage addiction that we all have. Outrage. Can you believe that? Oh my goodness. That's just... Then we feel better about ourselves, right? Because, oh, well, we're not in that situation. And we feel better about ourselves because that person is. Don't do it, you guys. It's evil. Try not to pass judgment. Let it go. And if you're interested in a particular event that's happening, do your research. Read a lot about it. Headlines are evil. Headlines are evil. What else? I think that was a recap. Oh, the other thing I talked about was the answer to all of our problems. The answer is love and stillness, whether that's prayer or meditation or deep breathing. The answer is love and stillness. The questions are going to get crazy, but the answers are always the same. All right, you guys, that's it. I can't believe how long this was, but I felt like it was really good, and I feel like we all got some tools. I hope you agree. Thank you so much for all of your shares and your follows. You are awesome. Thank you also for all of you who are writing about my books, sending me pictures with little kids in my books. That makes my day. I write math books, in case you guys don't know, and it makes my day because I write these books. It takes me so long to do them, and they're labors of love, and just seeing my little readers is just the best thing ever. So anyway, love to all of you, hugs and prayers, and thank you so much for joining me. You are the D Squad. Thank you for watching the Danny Cam, and I'll see you all very soon, all over social media, which I'm on every day. Bye.